Hey everyone, welcome back to 5 Minutes Fluentcast. Today, we're going to talk about something most people think they understand, but rarely stop to really reflect on: smoking. Cigarettes are often associated with habit, stress relief, or social moments. Some people smoke without thinking much about it anymore. It becomes automatic. But what's actually happening inside your body every time you light a cigarette? That's what we're unpacking today: how smoking affects your body, your brain, your energy, and your long-term health, beyond the obvious things we already hear about.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. I think this is such an important topic because smoking is often normalized. People know it's bad, but the effects feel distant or abstract. Today, we want to slow things down and really explain what smoking does inside your body in a clear, honest, and practical way.
Exactly. This isn't about judgment or fear. It's about understanding how your body responds to cigarettes and why quitting is not just about willpower, but about biology. Let's start with the brain, because that's where smoking creates its strongest grip. Nicotine reaches the brain in just a few seconds after inhalation. Once there, it triggers a rapid release of dopamine, the chemical linked to pleasure, motivation, and reward. That quick dopamine spike is what makes smoking feel calming, satisfying, or even necessary. But the brain adapts very quickly. Over time, it needs more nicotine to feel the same effect, which strengthens addiction.
And that's why smoking doesn't really reduce stress. It just temporarily removes withdrawal symptoms. When nicotine levels drop, the brain feels irritable, anxious, and restless. Smoking again doesn't solve stress. It just brings dopamine back to baseline. This creates a loop where the cigarette feels like relief, even though it's actually maintaining the discomfort.
One of the most immediate effects of smoking happens in the heart and blood vessels. Nicotine increases heart rate and blood pressure, forcing the heart to work harder with every cigarette. At the same time, smoking damages the inner lining of blood vessels, making them stiffer and narrower. This reduces blood flow and increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and circulation problems, even in younger people.
What's scary is that these changes often happen silently. You don't feel your arteries becoming less flexible. You don't feel oxygen delivery dropping little by little. But over time, the body pays the price through fatigue, shortness of breath, and higher cardiovascular risk.
The lungs are obviously one of the most affected organs. Every cigarette introduces thousands of chemicals that irritate and inflame lung tissue. Smoking damages the tiny air sacs responsible for oxygen exchange, making breathing less efficient. That's why smokers often feel tired more easily, even if they're young or physically active.
And the body tries to protect itself by producing more mucus, but smoking damages the tiny hairs that clean the lungs. So mucus builds up, airways narrow, and breathing becomes harder over time. This is how chronic cough, shortness of breath, and diseases like COPD slowly develop.
Many people think smoking gives them energy or focus, but biologically it does the opposite. Smoking reduces oxygen delivery to tissues, which means muscles and organs work less efficiently. That's why smokers often feel tired, less motivated, and slower to recover physically.
And that affects daily life more than people realize. Climbing stairs, concentrating at work, exercising, even sleeping. Everything requires more effort. The body is constantly compensating for reduced oxygen and increased inflammation.
Another major effect of smoking is chronic inflammation. Smoking keeps the immune system in a constant state of alert. This accelerates aging, slows healing, and increases the risk of many diseases. Skin ages faster, wounds heal slower, and the body becomes more vulnerable over time.
That's why smoking affects not just lifespan, but quality of life. The body becomes less resilient. It doesn't bounce back as easily from stress, illness, or physical effort.
It's important to say this clearly. Quitting smoking is hard because nicotine changes the brain. It's not just a habit, it's a neurological dependency. When someone tries to quit, the brain temporarily struggles to regulate dopamine on its own. That's why irritability, anxiety, and cravings appear.
But the good news is that the brain is adaptable. Once nicotine is removed, the brain slowly learns to produce dopamine naturally again, and with time, focus, mood, and energy improve, often more than people expect.
So, smoking isn't just about lungs or addiction. It affects the brain, heart, circulation, energy levels, inflammation, and long-term resilience. Every cigarette creates small changes that accumulate over time.
Understanding these effects isn't about guilt, it's about clarity. When you understand what's happening inside your body, change becomes more possible.
If you smoke, try starting with awareness instead of pressure. Notice when and why you reach for a cigarette. Is it stress, boredom, habit, or emotion?
And if you don't smoke, this understanding helps reinforce why protecting your body matters. Small daily choices shape long-term health more than we realize.
Thanks for listening to this episode of 5 Minutes Fluentcast. We hope this conversation helped you understand smoking from a deeper, biological perspective.
Knowledge creates space for better choices.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fluentcast.
If you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new,
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
we post new episodes with real English and real ideas about life.
You can also download the PDF with the full transcript of this episode. The link is in the description below.
And here's an important tip. Try listening to this same episode every day for 1 week.
Repetition helps you understand more deeply, notice new expressions, and improve your listening skills.
This is how real learning happens, naturally and step by step.
See you next time.
Bye.